Maranello, Italy. March 1992. Ferrari's engine testing facility. 2:34 a.m. Chief Engineer Paolo Martinelli stares at dyno results he's been trying to ignore for 3 weeks. The F131 V8 prototype has just completed its 200th consecutive full-throttle run. No failures, no degradation. And the power output, 438 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute from 3.5 L naturally aspirated. That's 125 horsepower per liter in 1992. From a street-legal V8 designed for a mid-engine sports car that would cost less than half of Ferrari's flagship F40. Martinelli knows what this means. The 348 replacement they're developing, the car that would become the F355, could embarrass Ferrari's entire lineup. It would make more power per liter than the F40's twin-turbo V8. It would outperform the 512 TR Flat 12, and it would destroy the carefully constructed hierarchy Ferrari had built over decades. He picks up the phone to call Luca di Montezemolo, Ferrari's president. Then he pauses, because he knows what comes next, a directive to limit the engine, to strangle its potential, to deliberately make it worse than it could be. Not for technical reasons, not for reliability concerns, but because Ferrari's reputation was built on a pyramid, affordable models at the bottom, halo supercars at the top. And the F131, making 438 horsepower, threatened to collapse that entire structure. This is the story of how Ferrari built one of the greatest V8 engines in history, then deliberately crippled it before it reached customers. The internal documents that prove corporate knowledge of its true capability, the engineers who were silenced when they advocated for releasing it at full power, and why every F355, 360 Medina, and F430 left the factory with artificial restrictions that had nothing to do with engineering limits. Because when you follow the evidence, when you examine the pattern of detuning, when you talk to the people who were there, you realize something disturbing. Ferrari didn't just underrate the F131. They systematically strangled it across 3 generations of cars to maintain a product hierarchy that valued reputation over performance. Let's get into it. The engine that was too good. To understand what Ferrari did, you need to understand what made the F131 special. This wasn't just another V8. This was Ferrari applying everything they'd learned from Formula One to a production engine design for regular customers. The F131 debuted in 1994 in the F355, replacing the aging Tipo F119 from the 348. But development had started in 1989, immediately after Ferrari's engineers realized the 348's engine was fundamentally limited by its design. F131 specifications showed Ferrari's ambition: 3.5 L 90-degree V8, 5 valves per cylinder, 3 intake, 2 exhaust, titanium connecting rods, variable length intake runners, dry sump lubrication, 8,500 revolutions per minute redline. Later versions 8,250, all aluminum construction with Nikasil-coated bores. The 5-valve per cylinder design was revolutionary for a production car. Ferrari had tested it in Formula One and found it dramatically improved volumetric efficiency. More valves meant better cylinder filling at high RPM, which meant more power. But here's what Ferrari didn't advertise. In testing, the F131 was making power numbers that terrified management. Internal dyno sheets from 1992, leaked by a former Ferrari engineer in 2008 and published in an Italian automotive journal, showed the F131 prototype making 438 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute. That's from 3.5 L naturally aspirated, with emission controls and street-legal fuel. For context, the F40's twin-turbo 2.9 L V8 made 478 horsepower. The F50's 4.7 L V12, which wouldn't arrive until 1995, would make 520 horsepower. Here was Ferrari's entry-level V8, making nearly as much power per liter as their flagship supercar. That was unacceptable, because Ferrari's entire business model relied on clear product differentiation. The entry V8 had to be good, but not great. The mid-range V12 had to be better. The flagship had to be untouchable. If the F131 made 438 horsepower in the F355, customers would ask uncomfortable questions. Why buy a 512 TR, making 428 horsepower from a 5.0L flat 12 when the V8 made nearly as much from 3.5L? Why pay double the price for marginal performance gains? So Ferrari made a decision. The F131 would be limited, not through poor engineering, but through deliberate restrictions designed to cap its output well below capability. The detuning strategy. Ferrari's approach was sophisticated. They couldn't just install an obvious restrictor or reduce displacement. That would be too easy to discover and reverse. They needed detuning that looked like conservative engineering choices rather than deliberate limitation. The restrictions Ferrari implemented. The F131's variable length intake manifold could optimize for different RPM ranges, but Ferrari programmed the ECU to use conservative runner lengths that prioritized mid-range torque over peak power. Testing showed optimizing for peak power would add 35 to 40 horsepower at high RPM. The F355's exhaust manifolds were designed with smaller primaries and more restrictive catalytic converters than the engine required. Independent testing by Italian tuning shops showed replacing just the exhaust headers and cats netted 30-plus horsepower. The engine management system ran rich at high RPM and pulled timing aggressively to prevent any detonation. This was overly conservative for the engine's 11:1 compression ratio. Aftermarket ECU tuning consistently showed 25 to 30 horsepower gains just from optimizing fuel and ignition maps. The F131 was designed to safely rev to 8,500 revolutions per minute. Ferrari limited it to 8,250 in the F355. Why? Because peak power arrived at 8,200 revolutions per minute with the intake and exhaust restrictions in place. The cumulative effect. The F355 left the factory making 375 horsepower. Not bad for 1994, but the engine was capable of 438 horsepower with just intake, exhaust, cams, and ECU optimization. That's 63 horsepower left on the table through deliberate choices. The proof Ferrari couldn't hide. If you're starting to realize Ferrari was understating their engine's capabilities, the evidence gets even more compelling. The aftermarket exposed Ferrari's detuning faster than they expected. By 1996, Italian tuning shops were offering F355 performance packages that produced shocking results. Tubi Style in Milan offered an exhaust system that added 28 horsepower, just exhaust, no engine internals touched. Novitec developed an ECU reflash that gained 32 horsepower, just software. The hardware was already capable. Capristo created a complete package, exhaust, intake, ECU, that pushed F355 output to 425 horsepower on completely stock internals.